and welcome to Strength-Based Marketing. I've got a real quick question for you. When you think about Disneyland or Universal or Nickelodeon or any of these theme parks, have you ever been to one and just been blown away by their attention to detail? The little things that they do that make it so amazing. And I saw an interview of a friend of mine, and I went, oh, I'd love to interview him. Robbins is one of those guys that created that magic in the hotel and in that industry for a lot of years. And so I wanted to get him on the show. And so, Lewis, I just want to say thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you, Pat. It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about this. I look at the things that you're doing, and when I listen to Chuck Simikian's show on, I noticed that you guys have been friends forever, that relationships really matter with you, and that you've been able to really create some massive results. And I'm curious, what's your story of how you've been able to go from pretty much, I think, entry level all the way to the top levels in that industry?
Well, first off, I truly enjoy the industry, and I enjoy working with all the people that are in the industry, the team members as well as the guests. And I drive results. I get results, and I get results working with my team.
You know what's real funny though is that, like, when you tell me your story, you started at the beginning, what, as am I get this right? Is it like a dishwasher or something?
No, as a front desk clerk. Now they're called guest service agents, but front desk clerk.
And what happened?
I really did not intend to get into the business, but I loved it so much that I decided to pursue the hospitality industry. And here I am today. So many years later.
So you climbed. Now, what are the ranks that you've been able to climb through in that industry?
Oh my gosh, there have been so many. So started off front desk and went to night auditor, food and beverage auditor, night manager, front desk supervisor, assistant night manager, front office manager, rooms division manager, food and beverage director, general manager, area vice president, managing director, president and CEO of my own of a hotel group that I co-founded, a hotel development group that I co-founded, and now doing hotel consulting.
Wow.
A lot of jobs.
That sounds like it. I'm sitting there thinking, and you've been working for 300 years. So what would you say is your greatest accomplishment when you were in those industries that you actually are able to bring into the marketplace?
My greatest accomplishment, I think, has been in every hotel that I've been at, in every company that I've been with, I've driven value in that company, and value to the ownership, and value to the guests and to the team members.
Now, how do you do that? How do you drive value through from ownership all the way out to the clientele?
First and foremost, you have to understand what ownership wants out of a property. Many people don't bother to ask. They take a job and they okay, I'm going to go run a hotel. But you need to know what the owner's short-term objectives are, their long-term objectives, and need to be able to fit that into how your property is going to operate, because you're going to operate it a little bit differently for all the different scenarios. And then, you know, first and foremost, I believe in complete honesty with our team members, and they need to be able to understand what results we need to get and how we're going to get those results. And normally you get those results by focusing on their needs and also focusing on the guests' needs. And I've always believed that if you focus enough on the team members are going to definitely take care of your guests. And the guests are the ones with the wallets that are coming back and driving revenues into your property.
Now, how has it affected you working with the team? And it sounds like you work pretty closely with the team members.
Yes.
And I just wonder, what were some of the results that you were able to create I would imagine that turnover is a big deal in that industry,
Yes.
and client retention would be another one. But what have you been able to, can you give me an example of a situation where you came into a place and they had high turnover, and you working with them, something changed,
Mhm.
like the result that
Sure.
you got?
Sure. A great example. One of the best examples I can think of is a hotel I took over in Miami. They had been through a general manager a year for the past 4 years, and they were looking for a general manager that spoke Spanish. And I don't speak a lot of Spanish, but I told them, I said, the issue in your hotel isn't that your general manager does not speak Spanish. The issue is that the people are not respecting each other. The managers don't respect the line level employees. The line level don't respect the managers. And when I ended up getting hired in the place, because they all realized that there were certain tremendous cultural issues in the property. So we went in as a team, went in to try to break through all the issues that hotel was having. The hotel was second to last in the company on their team opinion survey. By the end of the first year, we were able to be number 2 in the company out of 55 hotels in our team opinion survey. And a lot of that was through listening. A lot of that was through doing. A lot of that was through respecting the employees. My very first day on the job there, I remember I sat I asked the controller who was helping me out that day, I said, well, let's go eat lunch in the employee cafeteria. He's like, what? So you're going to eat lunch in the employee cafeteria? I said, yes. I said, that's part of what I do. So you go, okay. So we go in there, and we had oxtail. I've never had oxtail in my life. And you could have heard a pin drop when I walked through the door to eat lunch. And everybody was just staring. They were looking, I mean, eyes are all on me, like, he's eating in the cafeteria? The general manager's eating? So things like that you learn, and you break through the barriers, and you start to get to know who your people are. You get to know what makes them tick. You get to know their families, and what's important to them, and then you help to even out the job so that they're passionate about coming to work and wanting to come to work. Tell you a real quick story about that was I remember our first year, we had a great year that year. And so I wanted to do a huge party for holiday time. So I did this party, and we were having lobster and steak and everything. And I'm thinking we're doing the right thing. So I asked we have the dinner, and nobody's eating the food. And I'm sitting here, I asked my HR director, I said, why isn't anybody eating? We got lobster, we have steak. She goes, they want chicken, they want pork, they want rice, they want, and I'm like, I learned my lesson. The next big party we had, I had roasted a whole pig. We had it on the chef cooked it on the in the underground and all that, and it was phenomenal. And you should have seen the smiles and everything. So you learn, you learn about your culture, you learn about the people, and you learn about what they truly want, and you give it to them. It's so simple.
You would think, but as a speaker, I've traveled around the country, all 50 states, and there are some hotels that I was totally blown away by. And then there were other ones that I just went, ow, I bet you don't get a lot of repeat customers.
Right.
If somebody's trying to increase people coming back, are there some secrets or some things that you would encourage them to begin to look at?
Sure. I think you get to know your people, you get to know what their strengths are, and you utilize their strengths, and you utilize what goals does that person have? There are people, you could have your banquet servers, your housekeepers. They don't ever want to be anything more than a banquet server or a housekeeper. That's fine. Make them the best banquet server, make them the best housekeeper that they can be. The people that are encouraging, that want to move up in the world, help them achieve their goals. Not everybody's going to move up, but you can help them achieve their goals. You can teach them, you can show them, there's no secrets, try to get them to understand and help you so that you can help them. And those to me are the best secrets. Really understanding your people and understanding what they want and what their desires are.
Well, one of the things, I mean, I love what you're talking about, where you take someone's passion and you connect it to the mission and the vision of the organization. But I'm curious, how does that translate to retention of clients, repeat customers, people coming back, being satisfied? How do you emphasize that their vision, in a sense, get off of just themselves and completely on the client and
Okay.
their satisfaction? Because I have a feeling from what I've heard and from meeting you that your focus is on the end result of increasing people's satisfaction, the clients, the ones that are renting the facility, and repetition of those people saying, yes, I want to come back. This has been amazing. Are there any things that you like focus on when you're training somebody to get them to get their eyes on, how do I satisfy that customer and make them happy?
Excellent question. I think probably the one-word answer: authenticity. You
Okay.
want your people to be authentic. Quick story: I had a banquet server at one of my hotels who was absolutely amazing, but I never taught her. She was one of these she spoke her own language. She spoke her own, hi honey, how you doing? All this. There's a lot of managers that would say, no, 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 you can't say that. You can't do that. And this was her. She was authentic. I let her be authentic. And this one person was so outstanding to every group that stayed and came to our hotel. It was amazing. She won national awards, state awards, regional awards for her service. Just an outstanding person. As a matter of fact, some of the companies called her to give a speech to their whole corporate offices because of her outstanding service. But it goes back to being authentic. It goes back to being, this is who I am. This is the service that I can deliver. But if I'm going to be, hi, I'm Lewis Robbins, welcome to the hotel, versus, hi, it's so nice to have you here. It's great. You're unauthentic. You're giving that authentic service. And it's sincerity, and people see sincerity versus, okay, here's my speech, of welcome to the hotel type of thing.
Yeah.
And that's what they like, and they'll come back for authentic service.
The one thing that I saw in Chuck's show, and Chuck and I are good friends, so I don't mind shouting out about him, is that you do that really well at every level. That he's seen you coach and mentor people in their career in a way that brings out their authenticity, that brings out their best self, so that it delivers a greater, essentially, end product for the visitors of the hotel or the event that you're
Yes.
talking about. And so I commend you on that. I think that's amazing. And I wonder, when if you were really trying to address a someone that's in leadership in that in that area, in that arena, in the hotel industry as a whole, and what would you want to try to let them know that you can deliver to them and their organization?
Well, I think it again, it goes back to you have to feel comfortable with yourself, and you have to feel comfortable with your leadership style in order to, to train your team to do that. There's a lot of people that don't, or they can't relate to that level. They're used to people, oh no, I'm the manager, I'm the general manager, I'm the executive, this is the way it is, and it's my way or the highway. That's the way they've been trained, that's the way they've been brought up. And I've had to go through, and I've had to, re-coach many executives. And no, this is how we're going to do it. I had a boss actually tell me once, he said, Lewis, you're too nice to people. And I said, what? He said, this was in my review. He said, you're too nice to people. And I said, am I achieving all the results I'm supposed to achieve? Yes. Am I driving all the results that ownership wants? Yes. Have I missed any goals? No. I said, then explain to me what's wrong with being nice to people. So, it's just that's the type of culture that I want to put into a hotel. I want my people to respect each other. I want my people, they don't all have to be friends. They don't all have to like each other, but we have to respect each other. That's critical.
But isn't that like critical right now? What you just kind of went by is something that I want to dig a little deeper, because now in that industry, there are a lot more millennials, a lot more, even, I guess they call them Generation Z, that younger crowd, 18, 19, 20, 25, up to maybe 30 something. And yet they want to know that you're on their side. They want to know that you're going to nurture and mentor them and coach them. And wouldn't that be really important? Because the old model, the kind of one that says, look, if you just get a little thicker skin, you'd be like me, toughen up, just lay down the hammer. And I go, that's like illegal in like 14 or 18 states now.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, don't you think that this generation that's coming into the industry that you've been so proud of and served so long, they really need someone like you to help them kind of shift?
Well, back in when I first started in my career, the sign of a good manager was if you worked 80 hours a week. And that means that's meaningless. If anything, it hurts you, in my opinion, because you're not spending time with your family, you're not spending time with your friends, you're unifocused, which gets you nowhere. And at 6 months or a year later, you're burned out. So you're absolutely 100% right. Regardless of who you are, whether you're a 20-year-old, whether you're a 50-year-old, we all have different needs, and we've got to listen and we've got to learn. One of my hotels I was at, Chuck was with Chuck. You mentioned him. We had our managers came to us and said, we would like more communication to us. And I thought I'm communicating everything. So we came up with a meeting, and we called it the third Thursday meeting. It was the third Thursday of every month, and we had it was an all manager meeting. So you had your entry level managers to your executives, and the same message went out, and we delegated different parts of the meeting to different departments and things like that, so that they could showcase what they were doing and such. And it goes back to, you're never too old to learn. You're never too old to listen to what your team members are saying. You're never too old. Not everything goes right in a hotel. Not everything goes right in any business. And if you don't listen, and if you don't try to correct the things that people are telling you, you're not going to go anywhere. You can still, your business will still operate. It's still going to be there 50 years from now. It's not going to be as productive, and it's not going to be, you're not going to get the desired profitability and the desired results, in my opinion.
Well, let me ask this. Who are you as a consultant really designed to serve? It's who's your ideal client, but it's, who are you really designed? Who do you think, would be get the greatest benefit from working with you? And I mean, describe that person and the kind of pain they're having.
I primarily deal with owners, and they're usually individual owners or owners of small hotels, small hotel groups and such. And I help drive the results that they're looking for, whether it's improvements in the culture and service and profitability, in buying a hotel. That's what I do. So that's what I work best in. People that don't really understand the business the way that I've been raised in the business, and the things that I've seen in the business, I can show them. Cuts through a lot of red tape that they would have.
When you're able to work with somebody like that, what do you think is a typical example of working with you? I know I probably ought to throw out your results, or you, the watcher, viewer might not get the same results because not everybody actually takes that information, implements to create transformation.
Correct.
But a typical type of example of someone you worked with and you got them to what was the result you were able to was it a year, 2 years? You gave the example earlier, but just maybe another one of somebody that had really high, they're just not where they want to be, and you were able
Sure.
to take them further.
Sure. So one of the jobs that I did, and I was with this company as a consultant for a year. And as a matter of fact, they offered me a job several times, and I kept telling them no, because I truly enjoyed doing what I was doing. But they hired me because they were having issues with the brand, and their service scores were low, and the brand was sending them letters saying, hey, we're going to cancel your brand if you don't get the service scores up. So I gave them a proposal. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to look at. And it was a targeted approach of staying in the hotel anonymously. I went and I interviewed each department manager with the same questions so that I could get relative answers, trying to find out where everybody's mindset and culture experience was in that property, and why the hotel was having service issues. Then I also interviewed a lot of some of the influencers, the key team members who are truly the influencers in the hotel. And we all know, we know who they are. You learn who they are because your managers say, oh, you should talk to this person, or you should talk to that person. So I did all that, interviewed all these, came up, I found out what the issues were in the hotel, and I developed a training program for them, specifically targeted for those issues. So I did 4 training classes, 50 people each. I developed the program, and I used another educational institute from the American Hotel Lodging Association, some of their material as well. And the results were outstanding. Within a month, we were up 30% in our guest service scores.
Say that number again. 30%.
Our TripAdvisor had gone up 10 spots in 1 month. And all of this was just because, now, again, going back to what you said, the owners didn't implement everything that I suggested, but they did enough where we could drive these kind of results. So, that was a fun, really fun job, because you could see your results immediately. And, then I stayed on with them, and I helped them on the development side. They were a young company, and they had 4 hotels at the time. And I helped them take over another 3 hotels, did all the development with them, the due diligence, assisted them with the due diligence process, the performas and such, and then helped them hire some corporate staff because they were getting bigger, and helped them hire the person that they wanted that I was the job that they had offered me, helped them find that person, and so on. So, and again, I still talk to them, on a periodic basis. They're really good people. They've grown to 25 hotels now. Very strong company right now.
That's really beautiful. One of the things that we're kind of coming to the end of the show. How can people get a hold of you?
Sure. Call it Lewis Robbins, RobbinsHotelConsulting.com. It's Robbins.
It's on the screen. It's beautiful. So I want to say thank you, Lewis. It's been great having you on the show. I know that, folks, if I reference Chuck Samickian show, I'd say go find him on LinkedIn, go watch that show too, because I just kind of cut a thin layer through a lot of the things that Lewis has done. And I watched that story and I saw him, how he developed from entry all the way through each of the steps. Now he consults to that industry, and people really get the results when they take action. And with that, just remember, folks, information is what I'm always trying to deliver, but without implementation, there is no transformation. So take action so that you get the results that you want. This is Pat Dewar, Strength-Based Marketing. Thanks for being on the show today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.